What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Journey to Greatness, day 365 of 365 with David McDonald, the GOAT, greatest of all time. And so we made it. It was quite the journey. I don't have any more books to read. I don't have any more journals to write for this year. But we definitely were able to manifest some awesome things, tell our stories so many times over, with all the journals and everything that we've written. Um, I'd probably say like the biggest thing that I've come to throughout all of this is that before I used to say, live your best life, dream big. But the most beautiful thing about it all that I know is that really, if you do these activities every single day, your life will be changed forever. Um, and so I guess the next logical question is, why would you ever stop? We've already decided that there is going to be a season 2. And so it's going to be absolutely amazing. I still have to set it up. So what's going to happen the next 30 days is we're going to pretty much take some time off and really figure out what all this really means, and just take time to internalize it and digest it. And good morning, Liz, Fatima, Daoud, everybody. What's going on? And just really digest everything and see kind of like I said, what all this means, and then get ready for you to and I'm super excited right now. Next Sunday we're gonna have the celebratory event. It might be at Joey's. I'm not sure yet, but let's see. And then everybody's invited. Anybody's invited, whoever wants to come. But to continue, so all of the books that we read during the journey this year, Eckhart Tolle's or Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth. This was an absolutely awesome book, very powerful one. This book, I think, this book was powerful to me because it taught me that the universe will always teach you. Excuse me. When you take time to know yourself personally, when you take time to dig into self, this book taught me that the universe will bless you and will give you tons of emotions. It will give you tons of feeling. That tied in together with my brother Daoud's philosophy or idea that when the more and more you open up, the deeper and deeper your emotions and past experiences start to come up. And so it's not something for you to necessarily fight or be disappointed or be happy about, this, that, or the other. It's just understanding that you're doing a great thing with self, and so therefore you're taking on a little bit more of a burden or a deeper understanding of how things are moving inside of you. And with that being said, it's just something for you to constantly redefine and constantly define yourself, knowing who you are and pushing through it. And knowing how to live with self, right? And knowing that the past doesn't define you. So really, really super good book. If you haven't read it, Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth. It's an awesome book. For sure. Tim Grover, Relentless. This book was absolutely incredible. If you haven't read this book, this is the book that actually catapulted me deeper into the journey to greatness. Because this is I think this is the second book we read. It's an awesome book, and I say it's an awesome book because Relentless taught me. It got into the mindset of all professional athletes that Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and different coaches. And so this book was so powerful because it made me think like an athlete. Like, what do athletes do, right? They spend their time, growing up, studying, sharpening themselves, getting better, getting ready for the next level, NCAA, professional, etc., etc. And so we have this book taught me that in life we can also be athletes. We can also be studs and studises of our industries, right? And the way that you do that is by putting yourself on a regimen So if you say, okay, I want to grind for a year, I'm going to grind for a year because I want to change my life. I don't want to live this way. I don't want to be this way anymore. I want to make something more of myself. This book is like, okay, you set the bar. Now you have to be the bar. Let me show you how to do that. And it gets into the mindsets, tells you about what the zone is when you're focused. Nothing can stop you. Nothing can disrupt your flow. And Tim Grover is an awesome author. Tremendous book. On seasons and off seasons. So we're pretty much analyze your situation every year. Once a year at the end of the year, to this book, Tim Grover, before we get to this one. Once a year at the end of the year, analyze your goals, well, not only once a year, but if anything, once a year. And at the end of that year, you look back, you say, okay, did I do everything that I said I wanted to do? Not only did I do everything that I said I wanted to do, but how hard did I push myself to elevate to the next level? So super book. The 4 Disciplines of Execution. This was a chunky book. This is a big book. And here's a note that I wrote to myself at the end when I got to the end of this. This is called 4PDX. And my good buddy Trong Lu gave me this book over a year ago. And I always said I wanted to read it, and I never did. And so I got to finish it. But congratulations, David. You have made it to the end. You have overcame the struggles of having your team lose people and have found your peace with your past experience. You are a king of kings and will always have an open mind and open heart to learning. I am proud of you and appreciate the consistency you continue to show. Keep grinding and stay positive. I love you, David. So that's a note I wrote to myself after I finished this book. Man, that's awesome. Moment of silence. So, yeah, this book is just, I mean, to be honest with you, I forgot what the 4 Disciplines of Execution are, but this book was a good one too. So definitely read that one, and that's all I'll say about it. Tony Robbins' Unshakable was a really good book. Max, good morning, brother. Jenny, good morning. Tony Robbins' Unshakable was really good. I like this book a lot, and I use one of his quotes all the time. Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait. Only that just makes so much sense. So don't wait on the sidelines. Don't hang around over here. Don't hang around over there. Just jump in the pool. Figure it out when you get in the pool. Do you have your cell phone in your pocket? Do you have swim trunks on? None of that matters. Be unshakable. Just jump in. Live in the moment. Don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Make the perfect opportunity. And it starts right here in your mind. It starts right here in your heart. It starts within. And he talks about investments. He talks about money. He talks about stock. I mean, he talks about a lot of things in here. And I remember one of the biggest, I went through something, I forgot what it was, but my brother Daoud was like, what book are you reading? And I was like, I'm reading Unshakable. He's like, all right, well, this is one of those times where you gotta be unshakable. You can't be shaken. I think this was one of the earlier books. I think I was still being upset at myself if I didn't wake up on time. And, you gotta let things ride. You gotta let things ride. You gotta be unshakable. You gotta have tough skin. And at the same time, you gotta be an executor. You gotta push for the best. So Unshakable by Tony Robbins. A lot of good words, a lot of good resources inside this book also. So that was a sweet book. I think Spiritual Reliability was one of the very, very first books that we read, and it was by my life coach and good friend Richard Seaman. And this was a really good book also, as a continuation of class. Just digging deeper into self, creating more self-awareness, self-consciousness, which ultimately leads to you being reliable on self. And when you become reliable on self, you therefore need nobody else to fulfill your needs. And more so, when other people come into your life, it's an additional need filler, right? It's an additional, not even a need. the energy of other people around you adds to your flame that you've created. And so the deeper you get into self, the bigger your flame becomes. So become God's employee, follow your dream, and never stop believing in self. That's a good book. Think and Grow Rich. What's the next one? Napoleon Hill. This book was actually really, really good. And it talks about imagination. It talks about planning. Napoleon Hill. This book has been around for a long time, and I wish I would have wrote a review on it. I think in season 2, I will definitely write reviews on every book that I read. So I'll have to probably go back and read a review now and just check in to see, just to see if I can remember exactly what I grabbed from this book. But I do know that it was a good book, Napoleon Hill. So everything serves a purpose. I definitely highly suggest checking this book out. Think and Grow Rich also aligns with the manifestation idea. So if you think it, you shall be. He so thinketh, so he is. A man who thinketh, so he is. That's just the facts of life. And it's been absolutely amazing. And then last, not least, and none of these were in chronological order, but The Richest Man in Babylon was a really, really good book. And the simplicity, I got this for $5.99 at Half Price Books. And it was a really good book because it took financial concepts. There's only like 4 or 5 concepts, but a ton of like gold nuggets in the book. But it took a bunch of concepts and it simplified them. And the way that it simplifies them, it just ignited my soul to be like, okay, you need to, like, when it comes to this, when it comes to that financially, when it comes to this, you have to just do these things. And when you do these simple things, this is the framework, this is the ground, this is the foundation. Do these things and you shall build wealth. And it's like, okay, so imagine you got all of these other like ideas and words and philosophy and genius. You got all this other stuff and you slam it all together and then you add, and it's like, okay, so you want to be successful? Like this is a good stack of books to read. And then you add this on the end where it's like, but hey, it's not that hard, and it's just a gentle reminder. It's actually a really simple thing. Just follow these basic steps and then everything else will come with it. And that's on the financial side. And that's also in life, right? So never give up faith. Always know that you're being protected, even when it feels like you're not, even when like you feel like things are not moving. Always know that you are being protected, and that you will never ever fail. And as always, as we started, the intention of the whole journey to greatness was to and is to inspire myself and show myself that you are consistent. And I was telling some of my buddies and my friends when we were meeting at our last meeting, I was like, man, one of the things that I thought about was like, I'm doing it on Facebook Live. Like, that's wild because like Gary Vaynerchuk says, he's like, you don't want to spit too much, you don't want to talk too much, because if you talk too much, then you gotta live by it. And if you live by it, people are gonna be calling your card. Not just like, yeah, you're right. So 365 days later, I'm like, okay, like that was an awesome journey, something to celebrate. But I did it. I definitely did it, and I'm excited about it. So we did it. And so other than self-inspire and inspire for self, I want to help other people step into their highest selves, be reminded of their higher selves, and or push them further into understanding who they really are, and what they truly possess, their power, their ambition, their goals, and to never stop dreaming. And so we've been able to build a very, very constructive group of people that I think are absolutely awesome. And I know that as we go into year 2, more people will join and more people will be a part of the culture. And I'm really excited to see how it grows. So to everybody who's always, showed me love, to everybody who's always, jumped on the messenger board. I can't tell you enough that it is very inspiring. Um, it is very, it's a good feeling within me because I'm like, man, I'm not on this journey alone. And even though when, I meet with some people and they're like, oh, I don't get up I just get up and I check in, or I do this or I do that. I'm like, it doesn't even matter. In my mind, I'm just like, hey, you tapped in, like you tapped in, you're saying hello, you're dropping in on me, checking in on me, making sure I'm not crazy. Well, I am. Never mind. I'll just leave it at that. So, as a tribute, we'll just go into our last meditation routine for 15 minutes, and then I'll sign off for the last time here, and we'll go from there. So, all right, my friends, I will see you all on the other side. Oh, wow. All right, everyone. What's up, sister? Good morning, Carl. What's next? What's next? What's next is we're gonna get ready for year two. Year two. To be honest, what's really next is I'm gonna sleep in and like turn my mind off to the idea of waking up at 5. That's what I'm gonna do tomorrow. I'm not even gonna set an alarm. But to be honest with you, I'm kind of messed up now because if I don't wake up early in my mind, now it's about, like, for example, I said to myself one day, 3 months ago, when I was, kind of getting into the zone and like building my philosophy around how I feel. I love this concept a lot, which was stem from Relentless. And that concept is we have on season and we have off season. Okay. If we do this thing called life, and if one part of life that we do is getting to know who we are, being in spiritual understanding of ourselves, getting to grow ourselves, doing these things, right? And the other part of life is making money and grinding. When it comes to the making money and grinding part, we're always going to be on this other style, building our lifestyle, other side of building our lifestyle, building our mindsets, building ourselves, building our spirituality, etc. We'll always do that, right? No matter what we go through, no matter what we're doing. But on the other side, when it comes to financial, we can always do that too. But my thing here is that on the way to the top, or as we continue to rise, this idea that it's inevitable. Everything that I could ever want is gonna happen. Everything that you could ever want is gonna happen, so long as you believe it, right? So you said, "What's next?" And it's like I'm thinking about what it's gonna look like to be at the end, and how do I pull myself out. I know how to create the systems in the businesses to fulfill financially, whatever that looks like. But what in my mind, I'm like, how do you pull yourself out from these 16-hour days? How do you pull yourself out of these, well, really it's just 16-hour days, where you're working, working, working. You have your on season, you do that for, however long, a year, and then you take 2 months off, or you take a month off, or you do it for 9 months. You take one, you take a month off, and then you do it for another 9 months, while we're on this idea of trying to attain whatever this is, building a business, making X amount of dollars, whatever this money machine or this business machine looks like. It doesn't have to just, it could be a nonprofit, it could be anything, whatever this looks like. And then whatever the reward is at the end, you spend relentless amount of time just building that thing. And then you take a small amount of time off, you jump back on the grind again. The thing about that is, why would you do that, right? When you can just, well, the reason why I think that's a better idea is kind of like when you have a mortgage. If you have a mortgage, most mortgages are set to a 30-year term. You have a 30-year term, but if you pay, two times if you pay two times or an additional payment every single time, you're going to pay your mortgage off in half the amount of time. So you cut a 30-year process down to 15 years, right? And if you pay even more than that, you take a 30-year process, you cut it down to a 5-year. You see what I'm saying here? So it's the same thing when you're building yourself. It's the same thing when you're grinding, you're trying to build something for yourself. You don't make any excuses. You just said, look, this sucks, or pause. This doesn't suck. I'm enjoying the journey. There's challenges right now. I've overcome those challenges, and you see yourself through it. And then you say, all right, 9 months, 10 months, 11 months, I'm going to do this, or a year, I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to take a break for a month, and I'm going to jump back on it. No excuses. Boom, boom, boom. And then instead of you waiting until you're 65 to retire, instead of you waiting for you to be 65 to retire, you retire in 5 years if you want to. You retire in 10 years if you want to. So rather it being a 40 or 50, or because by the time we get to that age, it's probably going to be even further out. But instead of you waiting 20, 30, 40, 50 years to live your best life, you feel me? You you feel me? You understand? You sacrifice 2, 3, 4, 5 years of your early life. Sacrificing doesn't, I mean, depends on what you like to do. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything by not going out, all the time to the W or to downtown. I don't feel like I'm missing out there. So my point here is you sacrifice year in, year out. You still live your life. You still find your balance. And then, you just, you shrink your success time all the way down to a funnel of. So what's next is I'm thinking about what's it going to look like when I pull myself out of that on season, when I retire, like what is that going to look like? And how do you do it? But yeah, year 2 is going to come. And we're gonna have a huge celebration. No, I don't know if it's gonna be huge because I don't, but I know there's gonna be some awesome people that are gonna be there. But I don't know how big it's gonna be. But we're gonna have an event, probably actually this week, and I'll drop that in a video just to celebrate. So if anybody has been, inspired, if anybody is inspired, is inspiring other people, if anybody has found connection with me throughout this process, then I'm going to invite everybody to come and join and be in community, just so everybody can meet each other and see how they're vibrating and what vibration they're putting off, because I think that's really, really a big deal, is to be connected with people who are aligning with the same truths or different truths, but aligning with the same energy and wanting to be better and wanting to, have massive, massive impact on the world. And so that's what's next, sister, in a long wind of words. Sometimes, yeah, I agree. 4 times a week, yeah. I'm buying a house soon and paying cash for it. Yeah. There you go. So there are no limits to this, and so we just continue pushing on. So with that, again, it has been my honor and it has been my pleasure to be on this journey with everybody, and to have everybody on the journey with me. And thank you for walking with me and standing strong. To everybody who's silently supported me, everybody who's outwardly supported me, everybody who jumps on the messenger board every morning, good morning. And everybody at home, showing love and support, thank you for that. Good morning. And I highly look forward to year 2. If you're thinking about it and you want to take that leap, jump on the journey with me, and continue the journey with me, I should say. Not jump on, because you're already on the journey. Continue the journey with me, and let's hold each other accountable when it comes into year 2, and let's watch how your life will change. Because I'm telling you again, I can't say it enough. This is over 1,500 pages of journaling. Everything that I have right now, everything who I am right now, is because of this. This right here allows you to get the ideas out of your head, allows you to clear space so you can create and be a wonderful, wonderful manifester of your own reality. This right here, these are journals. They started as just blank journals. There's 5 of them. And I did 3 pages a day of just journaling, 3 pages a day. 1,500 pages of dreams and aspirations. And you know what this is also? It's a biography. And this is gonna be my story one day. So I can't tell you enough. In year 2, the stock will be this high. This right here is genius. This right here is genius. If you want to know how to improve your life, if you want to be a specialist, if you want to figure out how to build a business, if you want to get your MBA without going to college, this is right here. You go find some books. You go find books and you read the books. Audiobooks are awesome, but this right here allows you to work that muscle, that baby muscle, that muscle that we've been working on for all of our lives since we were able to read. So don't neglect it. Find time, 15 minutes a day minimum, or however many, 5 minutes a day. Start small, whatever it is, and find time to read stuff that's gonna inspire you. Read stuff that you may not. So This right here, these 7 books that we read in the last year, this is over 1,500 pages of literature. Also, these 7 books right here have cut my success time. Like we're talking about computation of time. Like why are we I could do life experience. Why do I do life experience when I could just read these books? You know how many people Tony Robbins has spoken to? You know how many seminars he's putting on? You know how much education and time he spent into learning his craft? Well, guess what? I learned all of it in a matter of a month and a half, spending 15 minutes a day reading. Tim Grover, he worked with some of the best athletes. I felt like I was an athlete after I read the book. I'm like, oh, I know what you guys go through. No, just joking. But I do to a degree or another. Eckhart Tolle, the richest man in Babylon, 6,000 year philosophies still relevant today. 6,000 years ago. 6,000 years ago. We're only alive for the first 2 numbers, so sometimes 3. But my point here is that the amount of knowledge and leverage that you can get or that we can get from reading book and being inspired by book who are written by people who have lived their own life, who have went on their own path is very powerful. So if you haven't picked up a book this year yet, I highly encourage you go pick up a book and start reading that bad boy. Another book that I didn't mention that we did start reading was the English Standard Version of the Bible, and this is 1,700 pages, and I got to page 200 because this is my bookmark for like the entire. And now check this out too. Look at this relevancy. So I went. Where were we at? We went to Vashon with our brother and our sister, Mark and Cam, to celebrate. And this card, they were giving out cards somewhere, I think. And this was my bookmark all year around. And it said, if you were offered a seat on the next space shuttle, would you take it? That's wild. That's powerful. If you were offered a seat on the next space shuttle, would you take it? That's powerful. This is the first time I've actually second time I've actually really read this since I got it. So the first time since I got it. If you were offered a seat on the next space shuttle, would you take it? So this book is really good. The Bible is a good book. I like it because it has tons of perspective. It's been around for so long. It's been translated so many times. So its level of accuracy, some people would say isn't there, but at the same time, I feel that, the universe, it all makes sense at one time or another. Everything just makes sense. So it's not really something to question, in my opinion, or at least that I choose not to question. But I read 150 pages and it just I couldn't go anymore. I had to stop because it's just a lot. It's a lot. I like the philosophy, getting back to the ground roots. But I was talking to the pastor the other day, and she said that it took her a year to read this entire book. And so we're reading it for 15 minutes a day. I was getting through like 2 pages. So 2 pages a day. So it was maybe 2 or 3 pages a day. So it definitely was a grind, but it's cool now because when I listen to sermons like, Joel Osteen or whoever, out there, it's funny because it's like, the Israelites, were in bondage for X amount of years and they kept their faith. Imagine if they gave up, then they would never have been free, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that's in the first chapter. That's in this book, or that's in that book. And it's just kind of cool. You listen differently when it comes to like, sermons or whatever, because you're like, oh, I read that book. I read the whole Bible and I know what that looks like. So I didn't read this whole Bible, but we're on page 150. And I know I want to read it, but if I started to read this, like let's say year 2, I would be reading this for 6 months. So this would be the only book that I would read. And this is kind of like an internalization book. So if you're looking to just really read and think and like be really honed in and focused, this is that book for you. But like when it comes to other books, for example, like, I mean, who wouldn't want to read this? Who wouldn't want to read this? Summa Metaphysical, God and Evil. You know, like that sounds like a really good book. A major work of philosophy of religion. Like I would read this. You know, that sounds like, or this one for sure. We're gonna read next in the next season, The Law of Divine Compensation on Work, Money, and Miracles. You know, this was a really good one I want to read. I wanted to read this year. Mindset, The New Psychology of Success, How We Can Learn to Fulfill Our Potential. So, all in all, I guess what I'm trying to say here before I clock out is read as much as you can, because it's one of the best ways to educate yourself. It's one of the best ways to elevate yourself to the next level. Journal, because it's important to get the magnificent ideas out of your head and onto paper, so that you can have a reference, or that you can have it just solidifies everything that you wish to have in this world, you writing it down on a piece of paper. And meditate. Find time to stop in your day, even if in the next, try it for 5 days and see how your life changes. Try it for 3 days and see how your life changes. You are forced to think about what happened yesterday. You are forced to think about what you're going to do today. So what you're doing is you're getting ready. You're priming yourself in the morning. And Les Brown says that that science study says that your brain is firing at a speed that is so much faster than at the later hours in the day. So it's really, really important to be working working on self, and to get up early. Pause. It's not really important. I'm not telling you what to do, but for me, in my mind, I'm like, it's really important that if you get up early, you have a good start, then you can grind, you can be on this on season, right? And then your brain is already firing. So I've already set the schedule in my mind. Anytime before 6 until like 9 or 10, I don't really talk to too many people. I just focused on building business. I focus on myself, and it's or really from 5 until 9 or 10. And then after that, like my day's pretty, in my mind, it's not over, because I'm still working, but now it's just like, okay, this is second nature. I'm just, I'm over here, I'm doing this, or I'm moving over here, I'm driving there. But in between those hours, I know this about myself. In those hours between 5 and 10, like I am just mentally in like creation mode. And I think it's really powerful for you to know what your creation mode looks like when you are in creation mode. And the way that you can figure that out is by taking time just to sit down for a moment and be in gratitude at all times, and getting to know who you are. Beans, what's up? That's okay. Good morning. Have an excellent Monday. John, my brother John, good morning, man. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, on your B-Day? Congratulations. Happy birthday. Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate you following the journey, and I look forward to year 2. Really excited about it. So, okay, with that, I can sit here and just be sitting in this moment of gratitude right now so much. But I'm going to get up and get some coffee. So, happy Monday. Make it the best day of your life today. If you need anything, I'm here. And be on the lookout for the Journey to Greatness celebration event. I would love to have everybody there. You don't have to get on every morning to be there. I'm inviting all energies, all spirits, all positive energy, everything that you can think about. Just come, connect, be linked, know who's in your city, know who's around you if you ever need anything. And like I said, have the best day of your life today, you guys. David McDonald, the GOAT, 365 of 365.